What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on ESPN with a 10-team full PPR mock where we will be selecting second overall. Should be really interesting. And while we wait for this thing to kick off, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comments section. Agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's dive right in because the draft is officially started. And I anticipate we're going to see Christian McCaffrey be selected first overall, which means we won't get the opportunity to select him second overall, which I feel like would almost be a steal. Instead, the recommended player is either CeeDee Lamb or Tyreek Hill. Now, I've gotten the question a lot. What do you do second overall? Who do you believe in? Is it CeeDee? Is it Tyreek? Well, it's Breece Hall for me. I've said this before. I'm going to continue saying it. I think the first three picks should be Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson. I still believe that the running back position is king. I believe that Christian McCaffrey is in a tier by himself, but not too far behind are both Breece Hall and Bijan Robinson. It's easier to find wide receiver depth in the second, third, fourth, fifth rounds than it is to find those upper echelon running backs. Breece Hall just, had, all things considered, a pretty successful fantasy campaign in 2023. That was without Aaron Rodgers. Now with Rodgers back in the mix, I think it's going to be a lot better. But with that in mind, now that I've defended my selection of Breece Hall, let's take a look at the other picks so far. Again, apologies with the ESPN layout. All you have here is the pick history, no draft board. So I'm going to do my best to go pick by pick. Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, then Tyreek, then CeeDee Lamb, followed by Bijan, then Jamar Chase, Kyren Williams at the 107. I'm not going to lie, that is a pick that I'm not a fan of, considering that you have more trusted running backs right now, like a Saquon, JT, and or even Jahmyr Gibbs. Then Amon-Ra St. Brown feels like a steal at 108, followed by A.J. Brown at 109. And look, I'm not going to pretend that this isn't going to be a situation where we're going to have top-heavy teams. I mean, this is a 10-team league, so you're going to have teams with some pretty stacked rosters. I mean, Justin Jefferson, for God's sakes, is still available at 110, which is where he goes. I think probably you might see his stock go up a little bit with some of this preseason hype surrounding the quarterback situation with the Vikings. So keep an eye out for that. But it's not going to be a situation where he usurps Tyreek or CeeDee Lamb. So I don't think it's going to be anything too drastic. Saquon Barkley was the first pick in the second round. We have some guys like Jonathan Taylor, Garrett Wilson, Puka, who are pretty good values, along with Jahmyr Gibbs. Speaking of Jahmyr Gibbs, he was the second pick in the second round, followed by Jonathan Taylor now. And then I imagine we are going to see Garrett Wilson and Puka Nacua shortly thereafter. And I continue to say it, this is why I love the end of the order when it comes to draft spots this year, because it allows you to get two tier one guys at the running back and at the wide receiver position, as opposed to if you're picking at the start like we are, because, okay, great, we get Breece or Bijan or Tyreek or CeeDee Lamb, whoever you have a preference for. But then with the wide receivers, you're going to be left with guys like, a probably Devontae Adams, guys like a Chris Olave, Michael Pittman, Drake London. And while there's names there that I really do like, it's not like they are in that tier of a Garrett Wilson or an A.J. Brown, for example. Now, let's go back to the pick history. We had the second round, Saquon, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry. Garrett Wilson drops to the middle of the second, Isaiah Pacheco, Puka Nacua, and Marvin Harrison. So we're on the clock here. Chris Olave feels like a good value, and then hopefully we can pair him up with Drake London. I think that feels pretty good. If we can't land Drake London, then Travis Etienne, who was just selected here, would have been a decent choice. Let's look at the wide receivers to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. Pittman, Devontae, Drake London, Nico Collins, Mike Evans. I mean, yeah, I have questions about all these guys. I think Cooper Kupp is going to see his draft capital go up a little bit. Running backs, we've got Brees, guys like Mixon, James Cook, Achane, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara. Travis Kelce just got drafted. So this is going to make my choice pretty easy. I want to go another wide receiver. I'm going to have it be Drake London. I think his upside is the highest out of all of these guys. They all have question marks. Let's not pretend they don't. Michael Pittman coming off a career year, but that was not with Anthony Richardson at the quarterback position. Devontae Adams, age, team, quarterback, involvement. Nico Collins, just the number of playmakers on that offense. Mike Evans, age, Baker Mayfield. So there's question marks about all these guys. But let's now go to the third round and what's taken place so far. We had Travis Kelce with the first pick. Then we went Drake London, Devontae Adams afterwards, followed by Achane and Michael Pittman. I've said this before. Achane does scare me. I think just way too many running backs there in Miami. And, I don't think he's going to necessarily see the volume. And he has to stay uber efficient, which is another part that scares me a little bit. Mike Evans afterwards, followed by Alvin Kamara. ESPN is one of those platforms that does have Alvin Kamara ranked higher than others, which, I'm fine with. I think he is going to be probably right on that precipice of a top 12 running back, so especially in PPR formats. So I still think that, he can be a fantasy relevant running back. So no issues with him going at the 307. Now start going all the other running backs that were kind of left that were really good values. Rashad White, James Cook. I bet you we're going to be looking at, if I had to guess, the likes of Kenneth Walker and Aaron Jones as our second running back. So, right now, kind of just looking at this, we could have gone with the Travis Etienne as our second running back, or we could have, in the third round, drafted an Alvin Kamara, drafted a Rashad White. I think probably in that third round is instead of drafting Drake London, or if we drafted London instead of Olave, basically in the third round we could have gone with a second running back. But I decided to go with the second wide receiver just because I feel pretty strongly about Breece Hall. And, Chris Olave, I do like him, but I don't think he's necessarily going to dominate. I think he's just a solid PPR type of wide receiver. But let's go back to the pick history. Ooh, Cooper Kupp got selected. That's a bummer. I was hoping he'd fall to me. After Alvin Kamara in the third, we saw Rashad White, James Cook, and Josh Jacobs was the last running back selected. Then Nico Collins in the fourth, Joe Mixon, DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, Sam Laporta lasted all the way until the fourth round, followed by Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. There goes Lamar Jackson. So we have still got some pretty good quarterbacks on the board. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, etc. Running back wise, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones are the two best running backs left. I should select one of these guys. Maybe I can select both of them. I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker here. And then if we can get Aaron Jones, I won't be too upset about that. Yes, that means we're going to pass up on guys like, Mahomes, Jalen Waddle, who I like. Let's see what Jalen Waddle's dealing with here. If we can get any news on him. Minor unspecified injury. Good to know. Doesn't really tell us anything. Devonta Smith just got drafted after a Kenneth Walker selection. Now, if this pick isn't Aaron Jones, I'm probably going to lean Aaron Jones because I feel like that's the last pretty solid starting running back that I can rely on. Zamir White, he's a mystery. That's what he is. Let's be honest, he's a mystery. DJ Moore just got selected. like I could see him landing in that Alexander Madison. Like either he's great or he's just a super disappointment. So I'm gonna go with Aaron Jones here. I believe I have him ranked ahead of Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, let's go with Aaron Jones. Patrick Mahomes was tempting. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I wanted to get another running back, especially since I think we were headed for another tier drop. Again, why it's so important to know your tiers and to follow along with that. Yes, that means we're going to pass up on, probably a top tier tight end and a top tier quarterback, but we will make do. There are plenty of good quarterbacks to land in, especially in a 10-team league in the later rounds. Jalen Hurts just went at the with the 6th pick in the 5th round. Pretty insane how long he lasted. Mahomes immediately afterwards. ESPN has their quarterbacks ranked lower. It's how I view the situation as well. So, kind of similar mindset there. Now, Jalen Waddle, it remains an absolutely insane value pick right now. He should have been drafted. What is it? The 5th, 2.5 rounds ago, honestly. So Jalen Waddle, whoever gets him, kudos to you. Let's quickly recap this 5th round. To kick off the 5th round, we had DJ Moore. We went Aaron Jones. Then it was Mark Andrews, Ramondre Stevenson, Brendan Ayuk, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Anthony Richardson, and then Deebo Samuel. Yeah, Jalen Waddle just went. I think, like, value-wise, if we hadn't gone Aaron Jones, Mahomes or Jalen Waddle would have been the one of the picks that we should have gone with. I guess you could throw Jalen Hurts in that conversation as well. But yeah, Jalen Waddle, love that pick at pick 50. Wow, insane. So now we got to wait a little bit, and I imagine you're going to see the run on tight ends here. So McBride, Kincaid, Evan Ingram, guys like that. I wouldn't be shocked. Ooh, CJ Stroud went. I was hoping, I'm like, maybe we can sneak in a CJ Stroud at quarterback. But not quite. It's all right. These next 3 guys, Burrow, Dak, Kyler Murray, all very solid options. So, but honestly, we don't even have to force it. Yeah, there goes Trey McBride. I knew that would happen. There goes Zamir White. Oh, there goes Dalton Kincaid. Damn it all to hell. But again, that's what should have happened. So I don't want to be in a situation where I am completely taking advantage of other people and their, ability or rather inability to draft. So here we can select Evan Ingram right now, or we can just wait until the 7th round to select him since this guy already has Travis Kelce. So that's just a little bit of a, doing our homework type of deal. Wide receivers right now, I really like Neighbors. I really like Higgins. I really like George Pickens. Let's go with T. Higgins. We're going to go with a guy that, opposite Jamar Chase, could be in a really good situation. And then we're going to scoop up Evan Ingram in the 7th round to have, that starting tight end for us. Who I think Evan Ingram is still like a top 10 tight end, could be a borderline top 5 guy, but I think there's some younger guys that are probably going to be ahead of him. So we went with T. Higgins. Could have very easily, again, been Neighbors or George Pickens. I like all those guys. I'm banking on Higgins, contract year type of situation, balling out, no more Tyler Boyd. So we'll see what happens there. Tank Dell just got drafted. But I will go Evan Ingram because the tight ends, let me just show you, after Evan Ingram, George Kittle and Njoku, Jake Ferguson. Do we want to wait for Jake Ferguson? If we wait for him, we can grab Malik Neighbors. I'm going to take Evan Ingram. Yeah. Maybe that's a situation where we're kind of forced into that pick, but I feel like Evan Ingram is still going to be somebody that you can, at tight end, not have to worry about too much for the majority of the season. So, after Evan Ingram, it was Brian Robinson, then Amari Cooper, then Joe Burrow, then Jonathan Brooks. I continue to say with Jonathan Brooks, you're drafting him for end of season play. That's what you're drafting him for. So hopefully he delivers on that. Malik Neighbors still being here at pick 68 is ridiculous. He should have been drafted a long time ago. I mean, I could make the same case with George Pickens. Honestly, Terry McLaurin too. Yeah, there goes Malik Neighbors, of course. It's just there's still some really good wide receivers left. McLaurin, Christian Kirk. I mean, Christian Kirk is ranked way too low here. But again, it's a 10-team league. A lot of good names will drop. Right now, what I'm hoping for is probably if we're really, really lucky, which I doubt, Terry McLaurin. There goes Calvin Ridley. I think right now we're at the point in the draft where people are just scooping up best players available, kind of filling out the bench type of situation. But to recap our roster, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Chris Olave, Drake London, Evan Ingram, Aaron Jones, T. Higgins. I think it's a very balanced roster. Like, you look at this roster, there's not too many holes. That's what I can say, right? We've got 3 wide receivers. We've got 3 starting running backs, a top-tier running back at that, high upside wide receivers, a tight end that, again, you shouldn't worry about streaming with him. And then a quarterback, I mean, who's left? Kyler Murray, Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels, Jake Ferguson just went at tight end. We'll be fine at quarterback. That's a position I'm least worried about. George Kittle went after Calvin Ridley, followed by Dak, followed by Jake Ferguson again. Just recapping that. We have 6 more picks until we make a selection. I'm going to make 2 more selections, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. I feel like we have constructed the core of our roster here. So we're in a good spot. There goes George Pickens. Yeah, I mean, he should have been another guy drafted a long time ago. So good value, a really good value there at the 803. Come on now. Deontay Johnson, Christian Kirk again. Come on, Terry McLaurin. We just missed out on him. Honestly, I wouldn't have cared if Christian Kirk was there. And even if we already had Evan Ingram, I would have scooped him up ASAP, honestly. Right now, does this guy have a quarterback? He does not. Maybe we go Kyler Murray here. And then we go, let's just draft Kyler Murray. Guy, when healthy, should be a top 10 quarterback. And then that's kind of it. Let's see here who we end up with our last pick. Just seeing to make sure we are not forgetting about any running backs, high upside running backs, anything like that. Not necessarily. Wide receivers, Keenan Allen's still a good value. Definitely. Glad McConkey, Marquise Brown. What's going on with Marquise Brown? Gosh, there's just so many news right now. Shoulder injury. Oof. That just happened. So here, I don't love any of these wide receivers. Maybe we go another running back. Oof, this is tough. Running backs, Zach Moss. Let's do Zach Moss. Yeah, let's add Zach Moss. I think he'll be the starter in Cincinnati. We'll see. But with that, we kind of wrap this thing up. I feel like we've got a really good feel for the roster. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We'll do our best to answer them all. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it again in the comments, any questions you guys might have. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.